Hello, I'm Mario Anderson, and welcome to In Focus Kentucky, where we take a look at issues that matter to you right here in the Bluegrass State. We'll talk to the lawmakers, community organizers, and people like you who help shape those policies. Today, we're focusing on the Dyslexia Toolkit available to school districts in Kentucky to help them identify and instruct students who display characteristics of dyslexia. Children that have the learning disability dyslexia have trouble reading and writing fluently, and it is estimated that nearly 60,000 Kentucky students are affected by this issue. In this past legislative session, House Bill 187 was passed and aimed at helping students with dyslexic traits by providing each district with a toolkit to guide instruction. Later, we'll speak with one of the co-sponsors of the bill, but first, we visit a groundbreaking at the Lexington School where a $10 million expansion for students with dyslexia took place. The Lexington School is making room for an expansion of its Learning Center program, which is a separate school within the school for students with language-based learning differences like dyslexia.
It's a place where kids with learning differences, particularly those of reading, not so much math, but it's where they go and they have different methods on which they teach the students.
George Freeman is entering his 8th grade year at the Lexington School and says he is a product of the school's Learning Center program that currently allows students to have a one-on-one learning experience with teachers and staff and primarily focuses on improving the skill set of reading challenged students.
Before I went to the Learning Center, I remember this talk I had with my mother saying about how I wanted to go to a different school because I felt like I just couldn't handle it, I couldn't take it. And I think, I don't know if I would have gone through with that, but I think I would have continued to struggle, and gotten so far behind that I would have been forced to go to some kind of special school for kids who are particularly behind and need.
The Lexington School, which is a private school, says part of the $10 million project will go towards expanding other parts of the campus, but teachers and students say they are most excited about being able to connect the main Lexington School building to the new 20,000 square foot learning center as part of its one school project.
They're going to turn it into one big community with no branches or chunks away from the main body, and I think that'll just change the feeling of the place and the aptitude of the students tremendously.
And joining me now is someone who has plenty of experience helping children face disabilities. Tony Kemper, head of school at the DePaul School in Louisville. Thanks so much for joining us here on In Focus Kentucky.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Mario.
You bet. Now, for those who do not know, explain to us what makes the DePaul School so special.
Since our school was founded in 1970, our mission has been exclusively focused on meeting the needs of bright children with specific learning disabilities such as dyslexia, dyscalculia, which is the math version of dyslexia, dysgraphia, written expression difficulties, and also working with children who have difficulty staying focused, who have attentional deficits.
And explain to us what the DePaul difference entails.
Okay, the DePaul difference, I would refer to it as being a four-legged stool. The first is that we are highly organized. For kids who find learning to be largely disorganized and unpredictable, we provide a very calm, organized, structured environment. Secondly, we're multisensory. There's so much learning that happens in a hands-on fashion. Teaching and learning where students can turn that which is abstract or misunderstandable into that which is concretized, which is clearly felt and packaged and understood. Then we are also very attention-based. It's a very calm, highly organized school. It's a school where when people walk about, especially the students, they feel a level of peace, which helps to foster and promote learning. And fourthly, we're practice-rich. We want to make sure that we don't cover 100 miles long and 1 inch deep of material. We want to make sure the children are mastering basic concepts of language and reading and mathematics and the other subject areas that we cover.
I know you actually had me down at your school to take it all in and see the different instruction was going on.
Yes.
And I know we spent time with the kindergartners as they were learning in that particular classroom setting. So talk a little bit more about that multi-sensory instruction, how the process is and how it's very detailed and tailored to these different students.
Students with a language-based learning disability like dyslexia don't just look at symbols and immediately immediately think of sounds or think of correct spelling of symbols or letters in order when they are creating words on paper, so forth. It has to be concretized. It has to be felt and moved about. So when students are taking words like, let's say, the and word family, sand or stand, okay, what we want them to do is to be able to manipulate objects where they are actually feeling, seeing, as well as saying the sounds or phonemes within those words. We want them to be able to differentiate the beginning sound from the word family. Because rhyming is often an area where we take for granted people can rhyme very quickly, pan, man, so forth. But students with a language-based learning disability often have difficulty with those key concepts. So we want them to see what an looks like, or what ought looks like, or what ash looks like, and then they start building words by adding different phonemes or letter combinations to that. That being said, also multisensorily, when you have activities that can help students demonstrate their understanding of what's being read, because that's a key with a good reading program for children with dyslexia. It's not just teaching them how to sound out or call words, but it's to understand segments, phrases, passages, understand at many different levels. And so a very multisensory, active type of learning environment can help them to demonstrate that understanding as well.
I know you've been with the school since its almost beginning, so what was your background? How did you want to get involved with particular schooling like this?
I began as a public school teacher in Brown County, Indiana, and it was a classroom at that time called a multi-categorical classroom. I had 32 different children. These precious kids had a variety of needs, physical disabilities, some with, at that time, called mildly mentally handicapping conditions or moderately mentally handicapping, kids with emotional and behavioral issues. As I was working there in that classroom, I became aware of a program in Bloomington where I went to school called the DePaul Reading and Learning Association. And that was one of the satellite programs that the Louisville DePaul School started, and I fell in love with that manner of instruction, teaching brilliant kids how to unlock reading and how to become authors, how to understand math at a very, very high level.
Now let's talk about the teachers and staff at your school, the faculty there. Are there any requirements to receive special training?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Our teachers are, fully degreed, and they receive a variety of different certifications and such. But it is the professional development program that we also implement. That is very, very important because we have a particular way of teaching literacy. So we want all of our teachers to be trained in that which is really the backbone of our curriculum. That's important, Mario, because all of our teachers are going to be teaching language arts, okay? But if the student then goes to your math class, you're teaching math, but you're teaching it from that framework or backbone of the key language concepts and how we take notes and how we express ourselves in writing when we're answering a math question. Then when the child goes on to science or social studies, we're reinforcing those basic student skills, organizational skills, and literacy skills that really are at the bedrock of our school, which is our DePaul Structured Literacy Program.
Coming up, more with the DePaul School's Tony Kemper as we discuss how the Dyslexia Toolkit will help children going forward. Stick with us. You're watching In Focus Kentucky.